When you stop talking, karma starts working. There comes a moment in life when silence becomes your greatest weapon. Not out of fear, not out of defeat, but from a place of deep, unshakable power. You stop talking, you stop explaining, you stop trying to prove anything to anyone. And in that quiet space, something remarkable begins to unfold. Karma begins to work. This isn't the kind of karma that happens in a flash of cosmic retribution. No lightning strikes or grand poetic justice. Karma, real karma, is subtle. It moves slowly but deliberately. It works behind closed doors, in the unseen corners of the world, and in the hearts of people. But most importantly, it works most effectively when you no longer feel the need to interfere. We live in a world obsessed with reacting. Someone wrongs you, you retaliate. Someone disrespects you, you explain yourself. Someone lies about you, and you start talking, defending, clarifying, proving your side. But all that effort often leads nowhere. It drains your energy. It entangles you in their chaos. And worst of all, it robs you of your peace. What if, instead of reacting, you let go? What if your silence wasn't weakness, but wisdom? Silence doesn't mean submission. It means elevation. It means you've outgrown the need to engage in every battle, especially the petty ones. And when you rise above the noise, when you walk away instead of wrestling in the mud, the universe takes notice. People take notice. And yes, karma takes notice. Think about it. When you're constantly trying to defend yourself, to be understood, to prove your worth or innocence, you're still giving power to those who tried to hurt you. You're keeping the wound open, the story alive. But when you become silent, when you retreat into your peace, you're not giving up, you're handing it over. You're letting time and truth do what your words could never accomplish. There's a kind of dignity in silence, a quiet that doesn't need to shout to be heard. It says, I know who I am. I don't need to argue. I don't need to convince you. Your lies will eventually show themselves. And your actions will speak louder than my defense ever could. This is not about passivity. It's about trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the natural order of things. Trust that what is done in the dark eventually comes to light, not because you exposed it, but because it simply can't stay hidden forever. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." It's not your job to match someone's bitterness. It's not your role to return fire with fire. Your job is to remain grounded, composed, and intact. Let them throw stones. Let them gossip. Let them twist the truth. Meanwhile, you stay still, and let their actions unravel on their own. This isn't always easy. In fact, silence is one of the hardest choices to make when you're being wronged. Every part of you wants to speak up, to set the record straight, to stand your ground. But sometimes, silence requires more strength than confrontation. It demands emotional discipline. It asks you to sit with discomfort without needing to soothe it with retaliation. There's something incredibly powerful about the person who can walk away from drama and still sleep peacefully at night. The one who knows their worth so deeply that they don't need to perform for validation. That's when karma begins to work, not out of vengeance, but as a mirror. Because eventually, everyone is forced to sit with themselves. Every cruel word, every betrayal, every lie, it echoes in their own soul. It doesn't need your commentary. Life has a way of circling back. People always meet the consequences of their own energy. And when they do, they remember the one who didn't stoop to their level. Letting go of the need to talk isn't about pride either. It's about peace, about choosing inner clarity over outer chaos. There is freedom in not responding, in not engaging, in not lowering yourself to explain what you know is already true. Your truth doesn't need defending. It simply needs time. And time is the great revealer. Give someone enough of it, and who they are will show, clearly, undeniably. The ones who spread falsehoods will eventually contradict themselves. The ones who took advantage of your kindness will face their own emptiness. The ones who tried to break you will see that you didn't bend, you transformed. Transformation is the real story here. Because when you stop talking, you're not just stepping back, you're stepping into a new version of yourself. You're no longer driven by the need to be right, or to be seen. You're guided by something deeper, self-respect. And when self-respect grows, your world shifts. You no longer chase explanations. You no longer look back. You realize that silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of power. It's where your spirit recalibrates, where your boundaries reinforce themselves, where you reclaim your energy. This energy, the quiet, unshakable kind, is magnetic. People feel it. The ones who once tried to provoke you begin to notice that they no longer have control. Their efforts fall flat. Their games no longer affect you. And that, more than anything, is where karma begins to work in your favor. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is say nothing at all. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you choose to protect your peace more than your pride. Because you know that whatever is meant to be known will be known. Whatever justice needs to happen will happen. Not through force, but through truth unfolding in its own perfect timing. There's a deeper kind of justice that doesn't require your hands to execute. It's the justice of watching someone live with the consequences of who they chose to be. And you live with the reward of who you chose to become. So, stop talking. Let them say what they will. Let them spin stories, twist narratives, cast blame. That's not your concern anymore. Your silence is not surrender, it's sovereignty. It's the mark of someone who understands that peace is the real power. That time is the true storyteller. And that karma, though slow, is always exact. You'll know this is working when you no longer feel the need to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. When you no longer seek closure from those who never gave you honesty. When you wake up in the morning with no bitterness in your heart. Only gratitude that you no longer carry what was never yours to hold. Let them carry their actions. Let them answer to their own conscience. Meanwhile, you keep walking forward, unbothered, focused, and if you must say anything, let your life speak for you. In the end, silence is the seed, karma is the gardener, and life is the harvest. You'll reap it in peace. You'll harvest it in strength. And you'll thank yourself for having the courage to say nothing, and still win everything that matters. Because when you stop talking, karma doesn't just start working. It finishes the story.